Welcome to Coffee with Coaches for the 2022 and 2023 season, a podcast to showcase the achievements of Meeker High School students. Hosting is Tiffany Jahorik, owner-operator of Crystal Meadow Farms and sports director of the Herald Times, and Rich Klinsman, owner-operator of Step Beyond Media. They have discussions over coffee with MHS coaches and teachers. They look back for a week in review and what is coming up for Meeker High School athletes, plus so much more. Welcome everyone. So it was a big week for the Cowboys this week. There was a ton of stuff going on, and of course, pretty much everybody traveled to Lyman.
Right. Yeah, I always like that Lyman weekend.
Yes.
It may seem like it's a long way, but being able to take three different sports out there, that's awesome.
It is. And Lyman likes it too. You know, those are a good set of kids over there. They're sportsmen. They're fun to be around, and they call it Meek Week, and so, I think they like it too. So I hope that next year we continue it. Of course, we're in a 2-year rotation, so I bet we do.
Yep, probably.
So let's start off this week, this with cross country. So they actually headed to West Grand, which is in Kremling. Mm-hmm. Brighton Bear got third place, and she ran it in 24 minutes. And, if we remember, Coach Casey was telling us last week that course is pretty much, it changes a bit.
Right.
But it's really high. I think that Kremling's at like 9,000 feet or something.
Mm-hmm.
So good job, Brighton. And then Haley Steele, the other girl on the team, took 27th. And then for the boys, Wyatt Rollins took 4th.
Wow.
Gabe Smithers took 7th, and then Aiden Tapia took 14th. So,
that's got to be a big confidence booster for them, too.
Yes, I think
that's
so.
Great.
Yes. And then, sorry, I just got... Anyway, so then volleyball, Coach Cravens is in the studio today. And so volleyball lost their first set, but of course is still undefeated.
Right.
It was a super fun game with Delta at home on Thursday night. The crowd was there. The boys showed up, after the end of football practice. Tons of fun. And then in Lyman, they won in 4. But there were some big numbers put up by these girls, and so let's get to that. Ainsley Sully on the weekend had 19 kills. Reese Clatterbaugh, who's just a sophomore, had 13. And then Emma Luce had 59. Wow. She had 34 at the Lyman game, which is amazing. And then serving, Ellie Hosick had 15 aces serving, 9 of which came in that third set with Lyman. Or excuse me, I said Lyman, Delta. I'm getting these two teams confused. Nora Gianetti, who has really picked up her blocking this year. I think this is, of course, her best year, which is her senior year, so it should be. She had 6 blocks on the weekend. And then tons of contribution picking up those balls, in digs. Emma had 55. Both Grace Roberts and Ellie had 32, so really a ton of help. And then Ellie, she was a busy girl. She actually set or had the most assists through the game. She had 55 of them, and then Gracie Cravens had, 30 more. So tons of contribution across the team, which I think is leading to their being undefeated right now. And then in softball, Tuesday they came and they were at home and they won 8-7. They went to Alameda. They won again 22-4. Alameda didn't win a game last year.
Yeah. Alameda International is
in the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I remember it used to be Alameda High School. And they completely changed it up, and it's Alameda International.
So is it private now? Is that way?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe it's a private school now.
Oh. Okay. And then they lost to Lyman 5-18, and we'll talk, Coach Kendall Bergman is in the studio today, so we'll talk to her a little bit about those. At golf, so golf was last Thursday at Gypsum Creek, and then there's someplace today, but Will Schwartz shot at 84, which is amazing. Drew Drake shot a 104, and then Monty Franklin a 105.
Okay.
So these kids, they're improving every week and doing great things in golf. Golf is such a tiny season.
It's quick, but a lot of tournaments. I mean, when
they really
2 or
pack
3,
it all in.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Coach Theus was at that one because he had taken the kids to Granby for their 6th grade field trip where they go to the YMCA or whatever they do in Granby.
Okay.
So he wasn't there. So I do believe athletic director Kindler probably took the kids, but Will again is on fire and doing fabulous.
Well, yeah, it seems like each week his score is getting a little bit lower because it was 90 at a tournament last week and now 84. I mean, that's Yeah, he's improving.
He is.
It's great.
Yeah. So maybe we'll be taking a kid to state. That would be a ton of fun for Coach
That would be
Theus.
amazing.
So in football, it was a tough loss. They started out the game, and the lineman kids looked like that they were completely covered in Vaseline. They were super slippery. Our kids were having a hard time tackling. They put up some scores fast. 28-0 seemed like it happened very, very quickly. But our kids never gave up the entire game. And they actually ended up scoring to 14 points, in that last third and fourth quarter. And Lyman still had quite a few of their varsity players in at that point in time. So that was really nice to see. Ryan threw for 84 yards. 74 of it was to Jace Mobley. Clay, Connor, and Casey. So Clay Crawford, Connor Blunt, and Casey Brink did some rushing. But, Lyman was really great at just shutting down our game there. Right. And then defensively, Connor Blunt had 14 tackles, and this was his first game back after being
right.
And then Elijah LeBlanc and Cade Blunt each had 9, and then Judd Harvey had 7. So they did very good. And Coach Coriel said that they were tough, but he's super proud of his kids' effort. They certainly showed us some things that we need to improve on. And then he's looking forward to the Aspen game this week. So super proud of all the kids this week, and looking forward to.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much gets fit into this fall season.
Yes,
when it comes to all the different sports, and it's always good on the football team. Yeah, it's tough to play linemen, but boy, it helps for the rest of the season.
It does, and I just think that it was good that we played North Fork first, instead of Lyman, and now we played Lyman, and it was really good for our kids to have that caliber of a team to play, because now they know how they have to practice. They know how hard they have to play, and hopefully they'll play that hard in every single game so that when we do come to playoffs, they are prepared and ready. Plus, we still have Gunnison and Buena Vista, which are not two slumps.
Exactly, because in a couple of preseason polls, Buena Vista was number 1, right?
They were, and now they've dropped. So I don't know I don't understand how the rankings are working.
But still, they're a top 5 team.
And they're undefeated. I think Gunnison. I'll have to confirm that Buena Vista is undefeated in Gunnison, but yes, yeah. And we have Cedar Edge still. They're not, and we play Cedar Edge at home.
Right.
And so again, all these teams
they're not slouches. We have a couple of easier games, but hopefully it gets their mentality the way Lyman looks at other teams as well, where it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're going as hard as you can.
Yes, for sure. So, I guess we'll get in with Kendall Bergman.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Crystal Meadow Farms is family owned and operated, offering a wide range of CBD products. Coming from 5 generations of farming, Crystal Meadow Farms offers farm-to-table products. In-house CBD extraction using beverage-grade CO2 since 2019. They create a CBD oil without the use of harmful chemicals. Their retail products are handcrafted using organic and natural ingredients and are some of the strongest on the market. They offer a range of CBD tinctures, spa products, a pet line, gummies for day and night, and a large line of topicals.
Welcome, Kendall. Thank you for coming in. You guys had a big week this week. 3 games.
Yeah, 4 games even. Yeah, really busy. Yeah.
Yes, it was. That's right. So let's start with Eagle Valley. Our first home game of the year. It was a little close for comfort.
Yes, it was great. We got a great lead. Eagle Valley's always really tough competition, good 4A team. Started off pretty strong and then kind of let them creep back in. Ended up winning 8-7 in the last inning. I'm pretty sure Bree got a strikeout to finish the game, which is always a great way to end. Yes. Again, my heart was pumping. I had to keep checking my Fitbit, check the pulse. But as soon as we got that second out, I knew we had it in the bag. The defense was coming together a lot better than some of the other games we've seen, and it was a really great morale boost and game winner for us. So
yes, and in front of a nice home crowd, it was fun to see everybody there. And Great game. And so then you guys had a couple days and then the long trip to Lyman, but in between home and Lyman, you actually had a pit stop at Alameda.
Correct. And this was kind of funny. I had called my old athletic director to see if we can get some games put in if we're driving all that way. And so we played Alameda in my high school days to bring back some good old memories. And that was good. We got ahead early, got some girls playing that haven't been able to get a lot of field time yet, and so that was really fun. And they love those overnight trips. It seems like a headache for me, but but they love it, and good team bonding. And they, as soon as that game ended, Coach, we got to get back to the football game. And so we all hustled on the bus and drove, another 2 hours to Lyman. But we got the second half, and it was good. They were mingling with everybody and supporting our football team, so that was good. It was a bummer to not make it back in time for volleyball, but then volleyball came and supported us the next day.
Yes, they did. That was nice of Coach
we had
to stick around.
We had a bigger crowd than Lyman did, so that was cool. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that's nice. And so then Lyman didn't quite go the way you guys wanted it, but I'm sure the girls got some great experience out of it.
Definitely. And, those are the teams that we want to compete with. I mean, they're top 10. They've always been good. Their coach is great. They've got such a solid lineup, and really their top 4 I think almost got on base like every time, like solid hits. So that's the caliber we want to compete with, in postseason and at state. So we just got to rise to the occasion when we're facing a team like that, and I know we have it in us. We really do.
Yep.
It's just putting it all together on game time. Some really standout performances, though. I know Athena Lyon, our sophomore from Rangeley, did a great job catching the second game. She had some really clutch hits. Vivian Brown, a diving catch in left field. She also had like a 2-out RBI hit, which was great. And Bree, probably the best I've ever seen her pitch so far. And I'm hoping the best is yet to come still, but she just did outstanding. I'm keeping them off balance. She had numerous strikeouts. I think one inning she pitched 5 pitches, 3 up, 3 down, and I'm like, yes, this is what I want. This is amazing. So talk about just a stud senior pitcher for us.
Yes, and I was standing over there. So the kids at the end of the football game, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes got together.
Oh, great.
And I think you guys must have left right away.
I think we did. We're like, we got to beat the rush. So we hit it out.
Yeah. And these 2 girls whom I actually didn't know. I thought they looked familiar. And I was like, oh, why aren't you guys going in the circle? And she's like, with all those football players? And I'm like, well, the kids are on the backside. And then they were like, oh, is your softball team here? And I'm like, they are. They're here somewhere. Oh. They're like, oh. So they were afraid going into the game.
Good. There we go.
Well, those 2 girls anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. And so then this week, you guys take on Aspen today, actually at Aspen. So you're headed out.
Right. We leave, I think, at noon, 12:15. So it's a long drive out there. Their field's great. It's always a fun bus trip out there, and get some good work in, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, some solid practices before Gunnison this weekend. So that'll be
double varsity, right?
Yes,
just doubleheader for
I believe so. Yep,
yeah.
just varsity doubleheader, and that'll be a good. Aspen's our first league game, so then this weekend will be our second bout of league games, and Gunnison's usually really good competition. We definitely need to be on our A game for them. But again, Saturday home games especially, we get a great turnout of the crowd, and I think we'll get everything figured out for the weekend for sure.
Yeah, and it sounds like the weather's going to hold steady.
Yeah.
Not in the 90s. I think it's going to be a bit cooler.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I did see that. Yeah, maybe 80, which is, I'll take that.
That'll be
this
nice.
weekend was toasty.
It was toasty, yes, for sure. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Good luck today. Welcome, Coach Gravens. Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for letting me come in. This is going to be great.
Yes, so last week was a busy week for you guys, too, especially because the girls, played more sets in one game than they have.
They did. And I told them, I said, believe it or not, we're going to lose a few sets this year, so we're going to be okay.
Yes.
And Friday night it was. Friday night it was. Delta was a good team. They were a really good team, and they pushed us around a little bit, and we needed it.
Yes, and I think it's good obviously it's good. They need to they're young, so they need to lose a few sets in order to know what it feels like and not panic.
I agree. It was fun. I mean, after we'd lost that second set, the girls were just kind of looking at me, and I'm like, "We're going to be okay. It happens. We just have to. How you come back from this is going to determine what kind of team we are." And man, the girls came out that third set. And went
and
after
Ellie,
it.
that was Ellie's.
Yeah.
Yes, Ellie Hosick was on fire with her serving 10 in a row, and right at the bat, and they just couldn't catch up. And they were defeated. Delta was just completely defeated in that set. They were like, "What is happening?"
Yeah. We took it to them that set, and
Yeah.
it was good for the girls to come back like that. And I think it kind of proved to themselves, okay, we're going to be all right.
Yes.
We may lose a few, but we're going to be all right.
Yes, and they were struggling a bit in the middle, like you said in your write-up to me. Delta was pretty good there. So.
Yeah, they run a little quicker set in the middle, and our middles hadn't seen them yet. I mean, Addie's just trying to figure out where she's supposed to be on the court, let alone what's happening over on the other side of the net. But by the end of the match, she was figuring it out, and Nora, she's been here for 3 years for me, and she knew we needed to adjust our block and protect different parts of the court depending on which hitter. I mean, it would change between which hitter was in the front row, so you really got to know what's going on in the other side of the net. And I think we adjusted to it as the match went on, and it showed in that fifth set for sure.
Right, and I think, too, one of the things that the team has struggled with is those little tips right over the net, and they definitely made adjustments from the first set through the fifth set, and Coach was not happy.
Yeah, I may have expressed myself during a timeout that I was not appreciative of how many balls were hitting the court.
Yes.
But to the girls' credit, I mean, all of them. I mean,
Grace
they stepped
was
up.
one I saw
Exactly.
that really stepped up and was picking those balls up.
What I appreciated with her was Friday night, she'd let a few drop, and I hooped and hollered at her, and she started picking those up. And then on Saturday or Friday when we played Lyman, I mean, she didn't let anything drop. She's figuring out that her role is to make sure that nothing drops on our square, and she did a great job this Friday for sure.
And so we had Delta, but the previous home game was against Hayden.
Hayden, yeah.
And the girls had some troubles transitioning, and getting out of the setter's way. And
Yeah.
But that's improving too, which is nice.
I agree. I mean, there's a time that
But it was
Emma's
the young
only
girls.
I was just going to say Emma's the only senior out there, and I have 3 sophomores that play for me right now, and those kids are still trying to figure out where they're supposed to be, and and they're doing a great job now. They're finally getting into the rhythm of it and trying to figure all that out. Now we're working on, okay, what's the other side doing? What adjustments do we need to make there? So I'm really proud of our younger group. They're really stepping up.
Yes. I can imagine they've never had to do that before, where they've always thought that they were responsible for whatever ball was near them. So the idea that a setter is coming in and will be there is very hard. That trust factor.
And you're blocking in different areas of the net, and you're trying to get off, and the setter's running up back on. So it gets crazy out there. I mean, I get it. We'll run into people quite a bit, but
Yeah.
Eventually, that's why we have 3 months to do this. So we'll figure it out by the third month,
I think
hopefully.
they're doing great. And, again, Taylor Garcia had some great serves as well. It was just fun. And it's nice to see the Sully sisters on the court. That's fun.
It is.
Yeah. So now switching to Lyman, I wasn't able to make the Lyman games, but you guys 1 and 4. So tell us a little bit about them.
The first set, they were ready to play. Boy, they took it to us, 5-hour trip, 6-hour trip if you count our stops and stuff like that. So I think we were a little lethargic. I probably need to do a better job of getting them running before the match. But Lyman took it to us, and I was like, okay, we're going to settle in. We're going to be in a good one. But that second set, those girls just I just took over the match. Our serving this weekend was probably the best I've seen it since I was coaching here. I mean, I have probably 4 to 5 kids that when they go back to serve, we may serve 4 or 5 times just because those kids serve so aggressively. So it's just been, it was great this weekend for sure. I mean, like you said, Ellie is, I mean, I got people that come and watch from like Emma's club teams and all that kind of stuff that are just amazed at what Ellie can do with what she has. And Friday night or Thursday night and Friday night, she was on fire. It was great.
Yes, and she actually had, is this number right? 15 aces on the weekend? I bet it is.
Probably. I mean, she was good this weekend.
Yeah, and Grace Roberts, Taylor, Garcia, all of them had quite a few aces through the weekend.
I mean, so you count, you're happy when those kids, Emma's going to have her 4 or 5 every game. And then when those kids start stepping up and getting those kind of numbers, you start going, okay, this may be coming together.
Yes, and so then speaking of Emma had a big game at Lyman. She actually, I remember, she had 34 kills at Lyman.
Yeah. She was, I'm afraid that I'm getting her tired. She looks a little tired out there, but both Delta and Lyman, I mean, she was in it for the long haul, and she takes more attempts than anyone in the state. We depend on her quite a bit. But all those kids know that she's going to be there for us. So she just battled. If anyone was there on Thursday night, she goes up for a ball and runs into the pole. And this is the 5th set, and she goes and she gets a cramp in her leg, and it was so bad it was sticking out the top of her sock. I was like, oh my God, I didn't do that. But we got Lindsay over there, and Lindsay rubbed it out a little bit, and she was able to finish the match, and she took care of it all day Friday as we were traveling out there, and I didn't notice anything on Friday when we're playing Lyman. So the kid's just a workhorse, and all the other girls know that we can depend on her, and it's nice to know she's there.
And the boys showed up late at the Delta, so they had their pregame practice, which started at 6:30. So they came the 4th and the 5th set for volleyball at the Delta game, and the boys are picking up when the set's good, and Lyman's going to kill it.
Yeah. They girls appreciate it when those kids are. I mean, they just go crazy, and they've come up with a whole bunch of crazy cheers that I don't even understand what they're saying.
Pumpkin, and I'm like,
yeah. That's thank you to Spud White. Did that a few years ago, and now they all do it. Yeah, the girls just love it when they're in the gym, and they were able to be in there for just a little bit against the Lyman game, and I just appreciate all the support that Coach lets them give us. So
yeah, and that was good of you to stick around after the Lyman game and go support softball.
Yeah, I feel bad because, I mean, even when they're home, we're usually practicing, so I don't get to go down and see them very often. So we didn't have anything scheduled on Saturday, so we figured we'd go over there and we watched the first game. And here's the trauma of Saturday was foul ball goes up in the air. We're all sitting underneath these trees, and this ball is going, and it looks like it's going to hit Garcia and my daughter. So I'm just going, let's see how she does this. Ball hits a branch, hits Emma on the knee, bounces off, hits me in the face. Softball's a dangerous sport, I'm telling you.
I actually broke my eye socket in softball when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah,
yes.
It was, but the girls had tons of fun, and they had a shaved ice trailer there, so there were some of them that had 3 of them. It was crazy. They just kept going back and back, which made the bus ride home fun. We'll call it fun.
So speaking of trips, you've got another one this week. So Friday, you were at Vail Mountain.
Yes.
Which is a tough team. They always are.
Yep.
And they're in our league. And then Saturday, though, a big tournament at Denver Christian.
Yeah. They called last spring to see if we'd be interested in going down there. And I knew we always do the Lyman trip, and Lyman always comes up here, and it's always a good test for us. But I wanted to get a little more competition. I want to see the east side of the state a little bit more. And Denver Christian called us, and they said that they were going to have Holyoke and Sedgwick County, which were the two teams that played in the championship last year. And I said, I'm in. We'll do whatever we need to do. I apologize for that. So we're going down there, and of the 8 teams, 4 of them are undefeated. All 4 of us are in the top 10 in the state, and it should be an awesome tournament. I can't wait to get down there.
Yes, and who do you guys play first?
So we play Front Range Christian, which I don't know much about them, but they're 5-0 on the season as of right now, and doing really well. So I don't know much about them.
Is it a pool tournament? So 2
No,
pools?
it's bracket play.
Okay.
So that's what I was going to say. On the other side, on our side of the bracket, Sedgwick County is playing Strasburg, which both of those teams are undefeated also. So no matter whether we win or lose, we're going to play another top 10 team again. So then the lower half of the bracket has Holyoke, Vale Mountain, Denver Christian, and Ignacio. So, some big names in 2A. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Yeah,
What a great way to have something earlier in the season.
I agree.
You're going to be facing probably them as state at some point.
Yep.
Good to see them early.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I appreciate the opportunity because, I want to play Sedgwick County again just because they're so good. And we need to see that. We need to see that before the state semifinal game.
Are they still ranked number 1?
Yes, they are. It's them, Wiggins, which I hear Wiggins is tall and physical again. So, and then us. So, yeah, they're still number 1.
And then Holyoke had a girl last year that was really, really good, but I do believe she was a senior.
Wieselmeyer, she was very good, and she graduated, and they've struggled a little early, but to be honest with you, they did last year also. They were not, they weren't in the top 4 last year. They always do this. They slow out of the gate, and then October comes and they take off. So we'll see how good they are.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun tournament.
It is. I can't wait. Playing, I want an opportunity to play Sedgwick County just to see, at least I get to watch them to see where they're at. So
Right.
We could be a little more prepared for the state tournament.
Well,
if we get there.
Football-wise, they've also been a powerhouse.
Yeah.
With the exception of last year, I think that they had won like the previous 7 state championships in
Pretty
A-Man.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close to that, yeah.
And, of course, that's my old area. I grew up 20 minutes from there, so we always played them. But they weren't Sedgwick County. They were just Julesburg.
Julesburg and
then-
Revere.
And Revere.
They
Oh,
were,
I hated Revere.
They were a 6-man wrecking crew
Yes.
back in the day. So when they combined, it was,
Yes.
that's pretty good. Those are pretty athletic kids up there.
Yeah, they are. And so, it's fun to see all those names. And then I worked there for years in Sedgwick County and Phillips County. So
Oh, did you? Yeah.
and so Wieselmeyers and all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's big families up there that have been there forever, and
Yeah.
that's what makes them good.
And
Yes.
every time you see a new generation come up and it's the
Exactly
same
right.
last name, it's like, oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It is.
Holyoke's the same
Yeah.
way.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Those Sprague kids, they always, once the kids have kids, you're like, oh, here it comes again.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and there was a rumor going around, and actually, I think Chassa did attempt to make Sedgwick County go to 11-man.
Did
Football.
that? Yeah, yeah.
They tried, and I don't think it happened this year, right?
I mean,
No.
you can't really have these rules on how many kids you have in the school, and then say, "Oh, but you have to, no matter what."
Right.
Yeah.
But they were too good, so they tried to move them.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
Yeah, it's we have probably 5 new teams in 2A this year for volleyball, and Strasburg dropped down from 3A, and they're a very good volleyball team. So but in the end, we have to play them anyway. So
Yeah, might as well start
I
early.
mean, I'll lace them up. I've always been. I don't care if you're a private school, public school, big, small. My kids are going to lace up their shoes and play no matter what. So we look forward to any opportunity we get to just play volleyball.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, and we can't wait to hear how the tournament went this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully I have good news. I think the way the girls are playing, we're going to battle no matter what. So we'll be
sure.
all right.
Yep. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Well, that was some good conversation with Greg and Kendall. That was always fun to have them in, and talk about their girls and talk about the sports. Two of my favorite sports growing up, I have to admit. So this week is a busy week for the Cowboys. So today, volleyball is going to softball is going to Aspen. Golf is at Vail today. And then just so everybody knows, the Basalt games have been canceled.
Right.
If you were listening to Coach Cravens, I believe maybe he said that on the air now. I don't know.
But they have too many matches.
Yes, and so we're not playing Basalt at home on Thursday. And then Thursday, golf is busy this week. They're at Montrose. So.
Okay.
And then Friday or this weekend, some cross country is at Coal Ridge. Volleyball on Friday is at Vail Mountain. Again, going to be a very good game. And then football is hosting Aspen.
Right. And then Saturday, like Coach Cravens was saying, they're in Denver, correct? That tournament.
Yes, they're in Denver at the Denver Christian Tournament. Cross country is at Craig.
Right.
And then softball has a doubleheader, varsity versus Gunnison here.
Gotcha.
Yes, and we did get some information from Coach Coriel on Aspen football, and then my kid, and he said that they're a throwing team. Aspen likes to throw, and they're very well coached, so it should be fun to have our first home football game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then volleyball, all of it. So kids are busy this weekend again.
It's crazy how many different sports we have going on.
It really is.
How many kids? It's just. It's impressive that our school is able to do all that, though.
Yes. There's over 100 kids out for the three sports.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
A third of the school. Which good for them.
Yep.
So this week for Athlete of the Week, it wasn't a hard decision.
No.
And it never is. And I honestly think we could probably pick this person every single week if we wanted to. But, Emma Luce was really on fire. If you look at her stats, she had 59 kills in 2 games. They did go, the games were long, and 55 digs, which means that she was all over the court. She was everywhere, playing very tough, very hard the entire game.
Well, and to get 55 kills, that's a lot. But when you have 55 digs as well, I mean, that's just impressive.
Yes. Yep, and she did some setting, too. She actually had 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
She does it all.
She does it all, yes. And I believe that a lot of those were from the Delta game, and she actually did them from the back row.
Oh, gotcha.
I was kind of remembering those. So, yeah, I mean, yep. So, congratulations, Emma.
Congratulations.
Yep. And I think that wraps up this week.
I think so. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.